thing in New York is that we have so many different, how do I say this? So many different outlooks on things because of the tremendous amount of different races, different nationalities, different everything going on at one time.
Yeah.
The perspectives, yes, perspectives. My coffee hasn't hit me yet, so so I hope your tea did. So going back, just to what we said, just to recap, you're saying that drinking tea is a little bit better than drinking coffee.
Yeah, I'd
Overall.
say so. I mean, the less it's about, for me, I'm trying to make a push to where you're not addicted or you're not, you don't have that, well, I need this in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Tea overall is better. The problem is, like I was saying, the main brand teas, because of packaging and everything, they pretty much accumulate chemicals, fluoride, like things that are just bad for your brain and neurochemistry. But I mean, you know, that's why you can go out and get a box of 30 bags of green tea at like Big Flow for like $4.
Because it's not even good.
It's not.
It's just
not.
trash.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Cheaply made,
Like
just for
everything else in
the
supermarket.
capitalistic value and such.
So like, if you walk in the shop, right, you know how they have the healthy food section?
Right.
Well, what the fuck is the rest of the food? Like, all food should
Dude,
be.
you just hit the nail on the head right there. That's real talk. That's real
You
talk.
know?
What is the rest of the section? I guess the only other section.
It's like, what do you?
Yeah, the only other section that's worth it is the fruit and vegetable section. That's it, man. That's it.
I
That's
mean,
real.
and lately what I've been taking more note on is
Because he only wants things from me. So reject the phone call from your brother that just asked you for favors. I love you, Tucker. I'm just kidding, kid. I'll hit you later.
Yeah, keep putting it on blast.
I hit you later, Tucker. I'll hit you back after shop controversy. All right.
so.
That's funny.
The world is, you know, you have the observer and the object, right? So we're the observer, the outside world, the external. You have your inner reality and your external reality. Now, when you take it down to more scientific levels to your brain chemistry, neurochemistry, I mean, not a lot of people study neuroscience to begin with. But
I think most people are intimidated by it, but it's okay. You can start small and learn.
I mean, there's the serotonin and dopamine chemicals in your brain. That's, if you're feeling happy, like that's what's going on. Your body's literally releasing that.
Yeah.
And so like green tea with the L-theanine, I mean, I just think that there are ways where you can almost, how to word it, you can almost like optimize, you can almost pick and choose your states of mind almost. I mean, through foods and through certain practice, I definitely feel that you can have a bigger play. And I mean, when you look at the way culture is, everything wants your attention. Now, I was reading a book that talks about attention being a commodity, and I think it's one of the most interesting ways of, like, describing culture, you know? Attention is a commodity. Commercials on the radio are non-stop, boom, 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 one after another. TV, there's never a pause. You know, so if you start thinking back to how we would function objectively without the man-made, superficial, like fictitious kind of world that we've created, I mean, I think it comes down to science. You know, we're a loss of nature. You know, the foods we eat mess with our heads. The water has a bunch of shit in it, you know? And, I mean, they want to keep you distracted, man. We definitely live in the age of distraction. They want you to worry about Kim Kardashian getting robbed, meanwhile the Pentagon just lost $5 billion. Or, you know, we just gave $38 billion in aid to, I think, Israel or one of those countries. Meanwhile, we have 200,000 homeless people, with a lot of vets homeless. You know, we don't take care of the veterans. We have all these other things, Flint water, the water crisis in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
How is there not money? We have $38 billion going to foreign aid, and our own country is fucked up. So, I mean, at some point, you got to realize
I certainly do agree. There's a lot of trouble here in our own
the
country.
swindle. There's definitely a swindle going on, you know?
I don't think, I know the U.S. is, some people will call it the land of milk and honey, and it's the land of a lot of opportunities, but we don't have that kind of money. to be passing out because we're neglecting our own responsibilities back at home.
I don't think the war in the 21st century is necessarily like that physical war. I think it's a war on the mind, you know, with the induction of all these technologies and the smartphones, and these are great and they're wonderful, but at the same time, you know, you can literally fry your brain by staring at the screen too long. So we need to make sure the revolution is within the individual, you know. It's almost an act of rebellion to be able to find inner peace in 2016, you know. You walk around, how many people do you know aren't, you look at them in the eyes, there's an underlying theme of a little anxiousness, a little panic, or they're not there, they're not fully present, they can't hold a conversation, they need something to you know, latch their awareness on. But
I think 2016 is a year full of nothing new here, by the way. It's been for a long time. Debt slaves, anxiety prone people who are in a rush that don't stop to smell the flowers, so to speak. They're not paying attention to the small things in life. It's a sick state of mind, and that's one reason why I'd love to leave New York, because I think around the country, people get it a little bit more. They get the point of life is not what New York has it all cracked up to be.
Absolutely, man. I think, you know, it's hard, and I think to begin with, the human mind is its worst, it's its best friend and its worst enemy. You know, it's self-sabotaging in many ways. But the problem with our culture is people identify with their thoughts so much. Now, we all have that inner voice, the inner roommate. Now, you have your thoughts and emotions, but there's always something behind that, because you can never specifically say, this is where I am, like, this in my body is me. This is me. You're the awareness behind it. We're all just, you know, just consciousness observing in a specific point in infinity. And I think we have it very backwards in our outlook, and more so to just revel in the awe. And I mean, if you want to get it back to the brain thing, I mean, not many people are, I think a decent amount, but there's actually a gland, the pineal gland, controls your melatonin pretty much, which is your night and day chemical, puts you to sleep and all that. Now, with artificial light and all that, it's become calcified. The pineal gland can become calcified due to foods, you know, toxic behavior, smoking, alcohol. It'll literally calcify.
Dude, right now you're just grand slamming it, because you just took the words out of my mouth. I was wanting to talk to you about this, and it's like you read my mind. We're on the same frequency. I think the invention of the light bulb has destroyed a lot of the natural functions and natural ways that we live our lives. People are staying up way too late, burning the candle on both ends, and I want to say this, and I think you're going to have a lot to elaborate on this as well. This thing wasn't wrapped too tight, by the way. Is that I think people in our day and time, and going as far back as when the light bulb was invented, are suffering from lack of sleep, and it's more serious than people think it is. You see companies like 5 Hour Energy. There's this new drink that my nephew drinks called Kickstart. These are very dangerous things to get started and hooked on. But this is what people are resorting to because they don't have the discipline to get to sleep and shut the day off. Now I understand that some people, you know, this is even myself, that, you know, are very anxious about the next day. They're very type A aggressive people. They can't wait to start their next day, whatever it might be, or they're worried about something, you know. Those people are staying up because of some sort of a mental stress, you know. But I think a lot of people stay up for entertainment purely, and that's not good, man. You're robbing yourself from the next day.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, what are we actually here to do? You know, so the career and the concept of money, this stuff is great, you know, it's kind of tokens for what you contribute, but I think what the Native Americans and more ancient civilizations, with the good and bad in all of them, at least their essence was more of life, of creating. You know, a lot of those types of civilizations were big into music, art, you know, poetry, ritual, ceremony type stuff, you know, community. They took care of one another. The elders were revered with respect for wisdom, that's the way information was passed down.
That's real.
We've lost that, you know.
We have lost that, certainly. I want to talk about Italian art, which I find to be very beautiful. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
Greek and Roman pillars and architecture and marble statues, bronze statues. This stuff is so gorgeous. People come to the museums and they're in awe when they see this. They say, a man made this or a woman made this. This is amazing. It's so amazing that people these days with our technology are not trying to reproduce things that are that gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now, why is it that us as a society and a culture are not pushing these children towards being fantastic artists, towards making marble statues and painting things as gorgeous as the 16th Chapel, for example? It's looked at as a joke. If you're one that's strong in the arts, if God has blessed you with that ability, it's like, for instance, people would just look at you as a waste of life. They're like, oh, get a real
There's no
job.
money in art.
Get a
What do you
real
do?
job.
Get a real
But
job.
why is there no money in art when people will pay to go into a museum and see stuff that was made centuries upon centuries ago? So there is money in art. People will, as long as somebody's willing to pay to enjoy it, there's money in it. But I don't know what it is about this society. I've never met a young man of Italian background or Greek background says, I want to be like my ancient ancestors. I want to create beautiful art. And I'm not saying there's not beautiful art worldwide, but we're just focusing on, I mean, that stuff was amazing. That stuff was ahead of its time. People are not reproducing it to this day. Where have you seen like Egyptian kids saying, I want to build large, beautiful, perfect structures like my ancestors, like the pyramids? And this kind of art is like, it's almost like it's not even questionable. People don't even question to recreate or to improve on what was already done so long ago, so damn long ago. Even with everything that we have at our fingertips, all this machinery. So, I feel bad for anybody that has like the gift of art, because it's like the discouragement.
Lost from somebody, the next Picasso could very easily have just gotten a desk job doing fucking taxes or accounting or something.
Preach.
Which is great and all, but I mean, with those types of acts, music, art, poetry, these types of things, you go out of your mind and you're completely grounded in your body. You immerse yourself in the experience. So you're there, but you're not even there. You're tapping into that universal energy where you're just creating. You're completely at one with everything, But I think a lot of the great minds. Two things I want to remark on that because it's interesting.
Yeah, please, man.
One. A lot of the great minds, Tesla, Einstein, a lot of, the ancient Greeks and Romans, those painters and such, I think a lot of them what they all have in common is the way they viewed solitude, the way they viewed being alone. I know Tesla talks and Einstein both have quotes directly stating if you want to find your genius, you need to be alone, you need to listen, So I definitely think there's something about slowing the mind down, calming everything down, being in complete attunement with your body and your connection to
So
nature.
get rid of that exterior stimulation.
I think there's
just
so much
focus
stimulation.
on what's going on inside.
I think there's so much stimulation we can't even reach to our hearts anymore. People are always caught up in something when you let the body rest and listen, and you'll kind of, that stuff will kind of come naturally. I mean, a lot of writers talk about with their writing, they don't even know where it comes from. They're kind of channeling it in, and if this isn't voodoo, because the brain is almost like a radio station that you're kind of tuned into, so it all depends on what you're tuning into. There's opposite sides of the spectrum. And then two, I read last week about ancient Greece, like Plato and Socrates and some of the artists over there. They had ceremonies every year, which what people believe to be, including like psilocybin mushrooms, like magic mushrooms, some form of a psychedelic mushroom, it was a big thing. It was a ritual, it was a ceremony, and they would come together, and they'd use this. And they viewed it as somewhat of a technology, like a gateway almost. Our view of psychedelics, I think there's a lot to be said in the travesties of this world and why psychedelics are more prevalent, because they dissolve belief systems, they dissolve boundaries, and I just think there's something to that. I think there could be a lot more sense of humanity if everybody could maybe there'd be centers instead of pharmaceuticals with all these crazy side effects. You take some mushrooms and dissolve that ego a little bit, you know. But
you just said the word humanity, and that's the point. When they get rid of the kids and the adults, when they destroy their desire or they destroy the prestige in being an artist, you're destroying humanity. You're making everybody as primitive as animals. And I don't want to use the word primitive. I don't want to even disrespect animals, because in a lot of ways they're more advanced than we are as humans. They're not killing each other for no reason.
The more primal, the lower level functioning, you know, the
right,
survival,
fight or flight survival. But you do see some things in animals that are superior to humans' way of thinking. The way we're so greedy, they work together to maintain the fact that they all survive. We're more worried about our own close family and our own close friends. Like, if you see a complete stranger in the street, you'll walk by him. At least in New York, you wouldn't even say good morning, sir. It would almost feel strange, and it would almost be weird for somebody to just stop you and say, sir, how are you today? You'd be like, what do you want from me? I'm not making a donation. Don't rob me. I barely have any money.
I've actually
it's a strange thing
with that kind of stuff.
That would be a nice social experiment.
Approaching people and kind of asking them a deep question.
Right.
Like, hey, how are you? Like, I'm just kind of doing some personal research, personal survey. What would be your greatest life advice? Or, what do you think, the purpose of life is? Or, like, who are you? These existential type stuff. People, it rattles them. People want to do that, They want to, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
It's tough. People are caught in their own way. I'm just not sure what happened along the line.
Unbelievable. Just approaching a random person that you don't know. They're always gonna have their guard up, like Floyd Mayweather. They're never gonna just want to openly accept you and listen to what you have to say, especially in New York. I don't know about the rest of the country. I've lived in this hellhole of New York my whole life, and it's full of negativity, fast-paced life, high greed, and it's also full of status symbols and illusionary nonsense. You know what I mean? So I like real people. I really enjoy that, because we don't get enough of that out here. Now let me just tell you a fast story. I'll make it quick, because my stories ramble on for no reason. When we were opening up, we had a totally free what you call this thing, like we had a raffle. Man, I'm so tired, man. I need a cup of coffee bad, man. I need a cup of green tea. So we had a raffle, and I stopped a lot of people, and some people signed up for the raffle, and they were totally interested. But I remember one gentleman was like, I don't want to buy anything. I'm just going to Taco Bell. Leave me alone. And I was like, sir, I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm asking you to take part in a free raffle so you can enjoy yourself, We have some nice gifts. We have But I mean, people are just so angry. Of course. So the guy was so upset. He didn't even want to take part in something fun, or even say, what's the point of the raffle? Why are you giving stuff away for free? All I was doing was creating an opportunity for people to talk about the new business by giving something away that came out of my pocket. They never had to come here. They never had to purchase anything or anything. Just come in, be part of the community, enjoy yourself. I know people are tight on time. Just write your name, write your phone number. In fact, a lot of people who won that lottery, that little raffle, they're not even clients here. But one day they will tell somebody, oh, I won a bottle of wine from there. Oh, I won a shampoo set. That's all.
So it comes down to a lot of little things these days, man. People are very shut off to the world and just other people. I mean, look at, don't want to go into this whatsoever, but like politics. You can't even speak to people about politics because it's either left or right. There's no middle, there's no discussion. People argue rather than conversate to discover truth. It's I'm right, you're wrong, or you're right, I'm wrong. Well, who's right and who's wrong, and what is even right and what even is wrong? They're made up concepts of the human mind. So if let's hopefully, the more people that I try to surround myself with, a little more conscious, more open-minded, let's discuss, I want to hear what you think about this. This is what I think about this, and we'll both come to our own conclusions about the matter, rather than, you know, you're fucking wrong, you know, and then you know, people get into fights. You know, it can even get to that level.
Well, I think people are so prideful. Even if I was a representative of the Republicans, just to say, I'm not saying I am, you were the Democratic Party, you said something to me that hit me hard. That so many people have so much pride they won't even admit it. Oh wow, those Democrats got a good point. They would never say it. You know, and I think that's a problem too, is that people are so fake that they want to stick by what they say, even if they don't even believe it anymore. You know, because they don't want to be proved wrong.
Yeah. I'm not sure where this all came from, but there's almost as if there's a massive brainwashing. I mean, look on most major TV and how much is actually going to be stimulating, or you're going to be learning something. I mean, a lot of it's a bunch of bullshit, man. I mean, and there are fucking problems going on. There's serious fucking problems. Like, we just passed the carbon tipping point. That means, like, we can't go back. We've pumped so much CO2 into the air now, where whether we like it or not, the temperature is going to be going up. And it's like, why? We have the technologies for free energy, solar, geothermal, you know, wind, hydro. Why aren't these taking place? Well, because oil companies can't put a fucking dollar sign on the sun. That's why.
No, it's just there. It's unlimited. It's a beautiful opportunity for everyone.
And so
it's a beautiful opportunity for third world countries.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that in order to be on top, you have to have people on the bottom. And they don't want these people coming up and having better standards of life, better standards of living. If you really want to help out third world countries, give them free electricity. Build them some solar panels so they can enjoy a better quality of life, so that they can use their brains and they can generate income and get ahead in the world. But I think I think we definitely have the technology and the resources to help these countries come up, but we don't want to. And I'm not saying we, because I want to. I wish I had the money. I wish I had the opportunity. A lot of times, man.
That's the conundrum, you know. Where do you play in when you acknowledge these things and how to play your part in helping them? It's not like, you know, it's to the point where there's so much that needs to be done. It's like, where do you even start with organization? And then at that point, you need money, you need power, you need resources. I mean, it's all, the allocation of all of it has been completely in the hands of greedy, narcissistic, sociopathic people. And it's sad to see, you know. But on that note, I think, again, like I was saying before, the revolution, the rebellion is in the mind. It's in the individual. You know, if you can express more gratitude and more love, a little more humility, you know, pay forward at a toll booth for the car behind you or something.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
Hello.
I'm good. Got big shoes to fill, Missy.
You look beautiful already. I don't see.
Thank you.
This is what I don't get sometimes. Like, it looks so good coming in. I'm like, what's there to do?
Why is she doing it again?
Yeah, what's there to do?
Fresh look.
Yeah.
How are you? Good. How are you?
Yeah, brother, I totally agree, man. There was a point I wanted to make. Okay. Did you see Shop Controversy episode 3 where my buddy Johnny Alejandro was arguing for a maximum wage? He says, of course, there's a minimum wage, but there should be a maximum wage. He says, for instance, if, I don't know, let me make up a fake company, Namco, we love Pac-Man. Namco company makes $1 million. The CEO's makes $1 million. He should make 500,000, and they should take that million, the rest of the 500,000, and disperse it amongst the rest of the team there. You know, everybody from the marketing to whoever it is. You know, to bring up a higher quality of life for everybody. I mean, it's still capitalistic in nature, but it has a touch of socialistic ideas as well.
Absolutely.
So it's like a hybrid, and I like hybrid systems, you know. But the only thing is that guy on top will never willingly give up his other 500,000. You'd have to twist his arm. You'd have to put him in the ring with, you know, like with someone dangerous, and he would tap out. They'll be the only way.
I mean, and also the laws that are intact that treat corporations as people. I mean, I just don't understand that. You know, the CEOs at the top, it's what they decide, and then there are laws behind that to back certain things that they do that are completely fucking illegal. But what can you do? Because a corporation is a group of people. You can't pin it on somebody, so there's no deterrence for this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's like the CEOs who've been jacking up the EpiPen price or whatever. She's just a greedy, narcissistic person, and she jacks this price up. But what's there to really stop her because of what's in place?
Right.
There's no there's no checking system almost. It's sad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I totally agree, brother.
But again, money can lead to happiness. Certainly, it can help. But when you break it down again to like the neuroscience aspect, they've done brain scans on like Tibetan monks, and they show like out of this world brain readings of just complete bliss, like that nirvana state. That's this dream-like word that's almost people don't have too much of an understanding. They're just like, well, all I know about is nirvana is that I don't have it. But it is achievable, Again, I think a lot of
money
it comes
makes
down
people
to
sick
mind.
because you're always worried about the next bill. You're always worried about having something nicer. If we have the brand new Civic, we want the brand new Accord next year. We're never satisfied. If we take the time to appreciate that we have opportunity to travel anywhere we want, and of course, when you're off, of course, you go to whatever, ride beach at any moment. Nobody can stop you. Like that's a beautiful opportunity, and not everybody has that. And having the nicer car is not going to get you there any better. It's going to get you there more broke.
A lot of it is fleeting happiness, which, in the moment, that's wonderful. And, that's maybe the drug epidemic going on, that immediate happiness or release, but it's very fleeting. But look, if you want to attain inner peace, if you want to get onto more lasting, it's going to take work. Anything of value is going to take work, discipline, dedication,
Yeah.
People don't want to do that no more. They want to buy that car, now I'm happy. Once I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. That's a disease, dude. It's literally a disease of the mind.
It's an obsession.
I think there's actually a word that they've coined for it about the human mind always
wanted
a
to trump
state
the
of
last thing
mind.
you did.
Yeah, the state of mind of always needing something new. The new iPhone, which clearly we see going on with the iPhone 7, which is comical, but it's the next thing or
By the
the
way, I
next
heard that
job,
Note
the
7.
next place.
I heard that Note 7 is explosive, man. I think it's a bomb, man.
Dude,
Gotta get my
blowing
hands
up.
on that thing.
No. I said this like 3 weeks ago. I was like, you sure that's real? I'm like, I don't know, man, but I've been seeing it.
I don't know. But since we're talking about happiness, let's talk about the opposite of such, depression, and the ways that people approach this thing. You're talking about these Tibetan monks having such an unheard of level of happiness. No drugs involved.
Yeah.
To our now, I don't know. Do they? I don't know.
Most likely not.
They don't enjoy.
Their
They
lifestyle
don't
is
indulge
pretty
in such
disciplined,
things.
Yeah.
But if a drug is creating some serotonin that wasn't previously there, it's just masking the problem. People are not getting better.
Well, in regards to that, I think the first step in all that is you go to a psychiatrist and they'll ask you, they'll talk to you and then you'll get put on a medication. But I think before any of that, you need to rule out any type of vitamin, mineral, or what they call like an organic cause.
Okay.
So if the again, a lot of this stuff can be boiled down to, if you're eating your vegetables, you're getting your vitamins, nutrients, and minerals for the body to thrive.
Right.
Naturally, your body's going to feel good. But with fast foods, processed foods, a huge amount
sugar.
of meat, sugar. There's literally people are addicted to sugar, and it literally causes obesity, high cholesterol, blood pressure.
I'm addicted to sugar right now. I've been drinking 2 sodas a day. I want to drop it down to 1, and I want to watch my refined sugar.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's a lot of process. It's not real food. If you look on like the back of like a Kraft mac and cheese box,
Right.
I guarantee you're gonna find 10 to 15 things you can't even pronounce. Let alone, do you want to put that in your body? We're out here counting calories, but nobody's counting chemicals.
Yeah, I probably can't read 20 of the things on the box. I have bronze education. Well, that's another story.
And it's like, do you really want to put this in your body? And then if you do, what do you expect to feel?
Right.
So in
I
regard,
think we're worried about calorie content and taste rather than the nutritional value. It's not even food anymore.
chemicals.
Well, it's going to get to the point where, first of all, I don't trust the FDA, but they're going to have to broaden. They're going to have to broaden the definition of food in order to justify these things being in the supermarket. Mm-hmm. It's like,
Absolutely.
It's like, I don't know how I can say this. It's like illusionary food. It's fake food. What would be like a fancy term we can coin this? I can't come up with something. It's just not real.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how to put it, man.
It's
Yeah.
not real food. And then, you know, the organic stuff, and it's so expensive. And then when you look at your average citizen in America, they can't even afford that shit. So
Right.
there's really, you know, the system is broken. Education's broken. They teach you information in a box. Meanwhile, it's a circle. But they tell you, no, you need to fit into this box. I'm a triangle or I'm a circle. I don't fit into this. No, you have to fit into this system. That's the, you know.
You know what?
Sad.
I want to say this, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I think most families, and I'm even talking about quote unquote lower class, middle class people, I think they can afford to eat healthy. I think they choose not to because I think their spending habits in every other place are incorrect. Because if you think about it, if you go to McDonald's and you buy a meal for $10, you could buy a giant bag of brown rice. You could buy a whole lot of beans, do them old school. You could soak them overnight and get everything ready. You know, you could buy chicken. Yes, of course. You know, the meats is where you start to spend more money. You know, but I think pretty much you can eat very healthy. But I think you need to be more aware of all the luxurious spending that you're doing. You know, I see these kids all the time, and a lot of people get angry. Oh, what's the point? Why are these children wearing $200 pair of sneakers or this and that? $200 could fill up your whole entire grocery cabinet, you know, with good food that's going to keep you going. So these kids are going to be able to concentrate in school, but they'd rather eat junk and look good. You know, it's more about the appearance of having it together rather than being together. It's a sick situation. I think most families are just spending ridiculously on the wrong thing. So that's my argument on that.
Absolutely.
Let's just even say you have a family of three, and that's a small family. Mom, dad, and Junior. So that's three people. So you're gonna spend $8 on like a meal at McDonald's. So 8, 16, 24, it's $25. Let's just round it off. You can make a good meal for $25, you know, because you spent most of it in the beginning of the week when you bought the giant bag of rice or even whole wheat pasta. Whole wheat pasta, one box will last you. I mean, when you boil
it's portion
it's
size
so much.
too. You know, I actually was serving 2 Australian ladies, and they looked at a slice of pizza and they were like, "What the fuck?"
Really,
like,
really?
She's like,
Really?
"This is one slice."
This is
Well, she
America.
couldn't even
Everything's
finish, like,
overindulgent.
half. And yeah, and she was like, "This is insanity." I'm like, "Well, welcome to America.
Welcome.
Portion.
Welcome
It's
to the
our
red, white, and blue.
You know?
Where we're a little bit backwards on some things and a little forwards on others. Now the thing is, I wanted to talk about that as well. That people eat not for sustainability, but more for comfort. And that's why the food portions are getting bigger, because people are so depressed in their regular life that coming to the table is an exciting thing. You know, I find myself doing it. I'll call my boy DJ Mad, yo, what are we getting for lunch? We'll be excited about it. Why though? Why? Because we're all going through so much in a day. We're looking forward to sitting down and eating a little bit too much. It's like a funny situation. You know, it's okay to enjoy those things, but I think we're all finding too much pleasure in doing that. So I didn't know.
She was like,
I wouldn't
baffled
expect such a
at
thing.
the portion size. I was like, you don't even want to know what you get for an entree.
Yeah.
I mean, you get pasta that'll literally choke you to death. Like, you can't possibly finish this entree. 3 huge slabs of chicken, a side salad, a little quarter loaf of bread, and a huge thing of pasta or a huge serving of vegetable, which hopefully you get the vegetable.
Yeah, right. You know. Get the GMO vegetables that have no vitamins built into them anymore.
And they're cooked and they're fucking they're burning off all the nutrients. And you're just eating things.
There's also tons of butter and
and
olive oil on them as well.
there's nothing left.
Just to let you know, it's just the illusion of health.
You know, yeah, right. You know, so it must be crazy.
That's a good point, brother. That's a good. That's crazy. Now I want to tell you, there was a restaurant locally, and my girlfriend, it's an Italian restaurant, and her and I very much enjoy penne alla vodka. And the dish there, the serving size was so big, her and I used to split it, and then bring home food, and we still had enough food for her and I for the next day. And even that was quite a lot of extra food to bring home. So just recently I went in, and just because of the economy, they've actually lowered the portions, and there's just enough food for her and I for one sitting, you know. And we weren't trying to be cheap or anything like that when we would go there and order one plate. It's just that's what we could eat.
That was the
You know,
job.
I'm a small person, you know, like the whole joke, you know, that my friends they coined me the carbon fiber kid because I'm lightweight.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a small guy. I'm not even 150 pounds most of the time, you know. So I can't even eat that much, and my girlfriend's a little petite thing as well. So we go out to eat, and the food is just so much. We always have food for the next day. It's unbelievable, and the waitresses and waiters always look at us like we have three heads. Like why would you just get one plate? And it has nothing to do with being cheap. You know, it's just the fact of the matter. It's the fact of the matter.
It's also the way you eat. You know, I've read a bit on mindful eating, experimented with it. You know, there's definitely I think there's a symbiotic relationship. In other words, the connectedness of it all, you know, to us, nature, to the animals we eat, to the vegetables we eat. The Baxter effect has proven that plants can feel and know what's going on and react to their environment.
I didn't know that. You're gonna have to elaborate on that because I don't think most people are aware of that.
The Baxter effect.
Baxter.
Yeah. So, you know, the way you eat, how much do you chew, you know, contrary to almost what you would think, you're not really supposed to drink a lot of fluids during the meal. That interrupts absorption and digestion, you know. So our style of eating, our portions are out of whack, our way of eating is wrong, you know. So with that in mind, you know, there's not too much you can really do. You're setting yourself up for disaster, you know. But anyways, yeah, the Baxter effect. In the 1970s, I forget the name of the scientist. There was a scientist who started hooking up plants to lie detectors to see if he could get any type of reading. And so what he would begin to do is he'd hook the plants up, regular house plants. He'd hook them up, and he would take a match and he would light the match, and in his mind he would have the intent, I'm gonna light the plant on fire. And before he even lit the match, as soon as a thought in his mind was, I'm going to set this plant on fire, the reading got crazy.
Unbelievable.
From the plant went crazy because
Unbelievable.
the plant was reacting.
Wow.
And now, so he started experimenting this more and more and more, and it got to the point where he could be in another place, and the plants at home could still pick up the effects through what the scientists ended up kind of coining the universal flow, universal energy, that kind of stuff.
Unbelievable.
Almost, you know.
That's unbelievable.
But it's proven. You can literally Google the Baxter effect, and it proves that plants have emotions. So if a vegan tries to tell you that they're doing good, it's all bullshit.
Well, we actually do have
Be
a...
mindful.
We actually...
That plant has just as much as that animal.
We do have a vegan here. I'll have to share that Baxter effect.
I'm telling you, tell the vegans to look
She's
up
busy.
the Baxter effect, man. They're gonna ruin their life, man.
She's doing a blow job right now, but I'm gonna explain this to her when the time's right. That's very insightful. That's so real.
I'm telling you, 1970s. Cleve Baxter.
Wow. How amazing. In reality, one of my favorite sayings, reality is always stranger than fiction. You know, it's always more entertaining as well. Because of that.
You know, they've said trees have a communication through the roots. Trees can communicate to other trees on if there's danger, if they need to send more nutrients to parts of the tree. It's crazy, man.
It is. It's very crazy, but so intriguing that what we always dream is not having intelligence or anything extra to it really does. So I think right there, cut it off.